Howdy y'all, I got the Bulldog on the channel. We're at a customer location again because Christine decided to go down. Now, I came out here late last night and took this part off. Transmission cooler line goes from the transmission up to the cooler on the engine on this 5.9 Cummins, and it was just pouring fluid out of this fitting right here. You can get a new line. I ordered a new line and it'll be here next week, but he needs this truck tomorrow. So I did what I could. Here, let me show you. This fitting right here, you can see all the flutes on it where I crimped on my flaring set and flared it. I did get it double flared, but where it was cracked was right along here, just to the inside of where this thimble rides. So it was just puking fluid down alongside of this. Now I had quite a bit of room on this. I cut off a 1/2 inch before I flared it. And I should have enough room to get this all back up on there and torque down. Hopefully it doesn't leak. This is just a stopgap until the new line gets here. He's spreading fertilizer and this is his service truck. And this time of year, you spread a lot of fertilizer getting ready for spring. So I got to get it back on the road so that he can get back to work. These people make a living with their vehicles. It's not just an inconvenience when they go down. If you're wondering how much I've done for this guy, here's a compressor that I Frankensteined together here a while back. Well, before I even started this channel. It came with the wrong motor on it. It had a 110 motor on it. I had to, it had that motor that came with it, but they didn't know what it was. They said it didn't work. It was because they didn't have it wired right. So I rewired the motor and got a special pulley to go on there and put her all together, made the cage work with all the pieces. They had the switch right here. I got it put on there and set correctly. Put it all together and everything worked. That's the kind of stuff that I end up doing, is making something out of junk. I did not put the hose reel on it. He did that himself. Now, when I took this apart, this fitting up in here wanted to back out along with the line, so I'm gonna have to tighten it up. Oh, I got deep well sockets. Click, it's working on. There is the fitting. It's not exactly fun to get to. Yes, it'll move. They should go in by hand. If they don't, you got something wrong. And oftentimes I just sit there and wiggle the line around, and that kind of frees it up and it'll spin. Okay, we got that spun down on there quite a bit. I'm gonna hook the other end up now. This one's gonna be a lot trickier to shoot because right there is where it hooks up. Now, that's my only area that I can get to it. You can't see it from the top. So you're just gonna, get some video of me struggling. Now I shortened this line up about a 1/2 inch, so it doesn't line up like it used to. I'm going completely by feel doing this. Now, while I'm editing this, I got a phone call from the customer. We talked about this vehicle, made a game plan on a different vehicle, and other things we're going to do later on. So I might have to take this other end out and start this one first. Since I can't see it, I can't tell where straight is. That's what I'm going to end up doing. Okay. There's a lot of stuff that'll go like that. You gotta just, as you go along, figure out the best way to do that. Did it start? No, it didn't start. I don't even know which way I need to go because I can't see it. Oh, now my hands are cramping. It got harder to turn. But I'm still okay, I think I got it started. Yes. It started. It's still turning by hand, but it's hard to turn, and I'm wiggling the line around. Every time I wiggle it, it goes a little further. That tells me it's not cross-threaded. Now, when we get it all hooked up, I'm going to bend it around a little bit because I don't like that it's touching up against the exhaust right now. Okay. No, I didn't get it. Gosh dang it. Oh, I'm gonna stop before I run out of film. I'll get back to you. Okay, 3 different angles later, I was able to get this thing started and spun down in most of the way without having to kill a fatted calf or do whatever. You can see it should be going down in there really easy. If it don't, find out what's wrong. Every once in a while you get one that's just difficult. This one it just had to fight. And when you're screwing them down in there on these that have an extra fitting that screws in, that's a pipe thread that screws into the transmission. And this is a flare nut that we're tightening on. Watch that nut behind it. You don't want it to start turning, else you'll have to use a wrench to hold it, which I'm about to do now anyway. Okay, there's that one. And when you're a mouth breather like me, you're gonna end up eating a bunch of stuff. Keeps my insides well lubricated. Let's see if we can get up in here and tighten up this one. With all the open area around this thing, you'd think you could get to it, but I don't have enough elbows. I want to make sure that the fitting is not spinning on this one. Also, I don't think it is. There's every angle, you gotta be at some kind of an angle to see everything. So you can't set nothing down where it's pointed at it. It's just a black hole. Kind of like this truck. Money pit. Everybody wants a 12 valve Cummins because how tough they are. And they are tough, but they have to be to survive themselves. That's why this line cracks, because of the vibration of the engine. When something slips, move if you can. Otherwise, wince really hard before it hits. That way it doesn't hurt as much. It's just... Okay. This is the end that I flared, so I gotta make sure I get it plenty tight. I don't like flaring old lines because they never seem to hold like they should. And we're gonna see if we have made any headway. Okay. I've put in all the fluid that I've got. It's still low. I don't see any leaks. Out of this anyway. It's painted the whole entire bottom side of the truck with fluid. Okay. Now I bent this line to where it's not touching the Oh, I bent this line so where it's not touching the engine block or the exhaust before I got all the fluid in it. And then I torqued it up, made sure it got the gears. You got to check these things in neutral because the pump does not run in park. That's something that, you know, a lot of people miss because almost everything else is you check it in park, but not this one. We got to be different. Of course, retrieve everything that fell out of your pockets while you were flopping around underneath there like a fish out of water. I poured in 6 quarts of fluid. He poured in 2 quarts of fluid. That's all that drained out of it while it sat there overnight. So the rest of it pumped out on the ground. We look like we're good to go. Like I say, I'm still gonna have that new line, but on that note, we can plan when we're gonna do that. If the weather changes and we get 3 feet of snow or something like that, I might come out here and put that on there because it's not an overly difficult job. You don't have to have massive amounts of tools. 15/16 for the nut underneath there on the transmission, and the fitting is 3/4. Up here, the fitting is 7/8. So no special tools, really. It would be nice if you had something that flare wrenches and articulating head and all that kind of stuff, but it's not an absolute have to. You can get by. My planned video for tonight fell through because the car decided that it was fixed. I might have fixed it. Well, I didn't fix it. I might have changed it. You'll see that when it comes out, if it comes out. He had to have it back, so I had to let it go. But I'm doing this tonight. Sorry it wasn't as interesting as it could have been, but it's how it is, you know. Your plans might change. Like, comment, subscribe, hit your little bell notification, share it all around. We'll talk to you later.